Welcome in, everyone, to another live post-game edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell, and of course, DK helping us out in the background. And man, what a win today, ladies and gentlemen. 35 to 14. Excuse me, an absolute beatdown in New York. Kind of as expected, but still nice to see nonetheless. Before we get into all the the details and give our full recap and reaction, Jimmy, who is sponsoring this week's episode?
Yeah, just like the Giants offense continue to be putrid, BetOnline continues to be the best.
That's right.
The best and most number one trusted source of online betting. That was a bit of a stretch, but the point is that BetOnline is as consistent as the Giants offense in opposite ways. Yeah. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. You have the largest selection of odds. Of course, you can do football. We talk NFL. You can do NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC, all the above. It's all there. So go ahead over to their website, BetOnline today. Don't forget, of course, use the promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here, man. The game, Glenn, the game. Look, I just want to say this off the top, if you don't mind. Like you said, what we expected, but I got to be honest, didn't do anything for me. Like, didn't move the needle. Like, I don't want to be pessimistic. We won the game.
Whoa, Jimbo,
I'm not here to be pessimistic. Russia done took over your microphone again. I was super happy to get a win. Jackson 5 on the board. Lamar looked spectacular. Offense was moving the ball up and down the field. I just meant from I guess what I'm trying to say is it all culminates this coming Saturday, right? Like, that's what I'm looking forward to. This was a really good appetizer, but man, I'm excited for the main course in 6 days.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying.
Put your mic back.
Is it? I got it on the right mic. Oh no, I don't. Oh gosh.
Yeah, rookie.
There it goes. Okay, you hear?
There we go.
Okay. I think I know what you're saying in the sense that it didn't start the way we were expecting. Had another slow start offensively, which I guess coming off the bye isn't completely ridiculous to see. But disappointed to see how it started. But man, after that, I think they certainly got into a rhythm there.
Oh yeah.
He's blessed says, my guys, great win after the bye, but definitely need to work on penalties. Oh my goodness, we're going to talk about Brandon Stevens, especially PIs. Lamar is definitely MV3. God bless you and your families. Ravens fan till the death of me. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate you jumping in here with us. But yeah, I mean, the penalties again resurface once again. And it's just, at this point, it's like you can nitpick like certain things about certain penalties. You certainly can with Brandon Stevens in some of those. But it's just like, golly, dude, can you defend anything without a penalty? Like, or just like it's either a catch or a penalty, it seems like at this point with Brandon Stevens. And it's like, why? I get Tre'Davious White has some limitations coming off the injury, being an older guy, speed not being, maybe his forte anymore. But holy smokes, I mean, it's frustrating to watch Brandon Stevens out there getting picked on even by guys like Tim Boyle and Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, it is. I do think that, speaking of being picked on, Brandon was being a little picked on by the refereeing today. I thought the first one was really nitpicky. Yeah. I mean, really nitpicky. Had one arm.
Why does he got to have the arm and just play the ball with both hands?
I think he's afraid of losing. He's afraid of
balls
losing.
You already see the ball. You can lose them. Go to the ball.
I guess that's true. That's a good point. But man, I feel like that's how other corners play it. Like, he actually played it like other corners play it. You keep your distance here. You turn around and I mean, shoot. Nate Wiggins just doesn't get targeted as much. I'd be way more concerned with Nate Wiggins as they all tackle the guy.
I love Nate Wiggins getting into it with Malik though, and
that was awesome.
To all the fans like this guy. No, he's nothing. I love it. I love trash talk between DBs and wide receivers. I love it.
Yeah, it is fun. But yeah, to your point, just a frustrating outing today for Brandon Stevens. But Manny says, thankfully the Giants are terrible. Good win, but our defense wasn't great. DPI penalties were their entire offense today. Stevens was lost.
Yeah.
I want to speak to this point, but I want to speak to it this way, Glenn. I was thinking a lot about the Ravens naturally during the game, and I thought about a few things. One, obviously the offense looked good, but the defense as a whole looks to be in a new situation, right? Like our Darius Washington, who we'll talk about, has arrived and kind of settled the storm a little bit.
Yep.
You
Oh,
know,
more than that. Yeah.
but then DK talked about in our chat, they seem to be doing some other things at rotation wise at inside linebacker, and it seems like they're finding a way to get value out of Malik Harrison in a proper way, which we were hoping they would do that at the beginning of the season. Remember? And then I think it was game 1. We were like, why is he out there trying to tackle guys in the open field? Which it seems like they're finding ways between him and Board to properly use him. So I guess what I'm trying to say, and this is the other thing else I want to note, I want to say as far as my point goes, Justin Tucker today, I really focus on his swing right now. Did you notice how much? So like there was so much less in a proper way. I think he was not like his foot came down so much faster, right? Like he was not over swinging the heck out of it just to hit an extra point. He wasn't rocking the ball. And I think that speaks to him feeling a little bit more confident. I'm just looking at his form.
But he didn't kick a field goal.
No, he didn't kick a field goal. But even in other, I mean, he's already missed 2 extra points this year.
That's true.
And even in other extra points that he
was
making.
But are you telling me that a day of perfect extra points gave you some sort of
No, it has nothing to do with the result. It has everything to do with the way he was hitting it. Even if I didn't see where the ball was going. What I'm saying, look, you know this better than me, probably. Well, maybe better than me. But like when a guy's driving with a golf club, you know a lot about how that ball is going to end up simply by watching him hit the ball.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
Right. And if a guy stands up there that's a meathead on roids and all he does is swing the heck out of the club, right? But his form is terrible. I'm not saying it was that bad for Justin.
Not going to go good. Yeah. It's not
right. But then, a 6-year-old stands up there with perfect
You got to let the club do the work in golf.
Right.
Yeah.
So I felt like Justin his form looked a lot better today. So my point is this. This is what has me excited. The defense seems to have right the ship. The offense looks normal. Like I'm not going to, it didn't blow me out of the water because that's kind of what we come to expect from this offense against bad teams.
Yeah.
And the special teams seems to have made some progress. Getting me really excited about this team. And Adafio had no sacks. Super excited.
And he almost had one, dude. That's what's really driving me crazy. He was so close to getting one. It's like, oh my goodness. And then I think there was a penalty on the play. Let's see. Cedric says, happy to win, but can't believe we covered the 16.5-point spread with 12 penalties. Let's clean it up before the Steelers. Yeah, no doubt. It is pretty crazy to think you covered that kind of spread with 12 penalties. It just shows you kind of how inept the Giants are right now. And they're an absolute disaster. I love to see it. But yeah, shout out to the Ravens for covering. I'm sure a lot of people had some money on the Ravens. That's why that because I think it started like, what did it start? Like 12.5 or something like that, and rose all the way to that. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, let's get into some of the team stats, and then I'm gonna switch it over and we'll check out some of the box score. But yeah, I mean, there's some areas that look real good in this box score here, Jimbo. So 25 first downs to 19 for the Jets. But here's really where it starts to get really 9 for 11 third down efficiency for the Ravens today. That is absolutely off the charts good. And when you look at where the Giants were 2 for 12, kind of tells you where this game was won and lost. I mean, Ravens were able to stay on the field through third down conversions, continue drives. The only way the Giants were able to sustain drives is what we're going to get into here towards the end of this, and that's penalties. I mean, 12 penalties, 112 yards. All of their touchdown drive was completely and solely due to penalties. Like they were stuck in long down and distances throughout, and sure enough, a penalty would help bail them out once again. You take away the penalties, they do absolutely nothing on offense today. It was, I mean, look, yards per pass, Jimbo, 9.8 for the Ravens. Like that's something else here, Jimbo. And again, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. He does it again, rushing yards. I mean, we do 170 like it's just, I mean, it's nothing to get 170 here, Jimbo. Hold them to just 55. But yeah, I mean, a complete team win outside of the penalties. What's there really to complain about?
Right. Well, and to be honest, that kind of feeds back to my point is that I think that everything that has been going on and ailing the Ravens, and I'm going to lump the penalties in here, is fixable.
Right.
That's kind of what I've come to this reality. DK doesn't seem to think so. I think he's really concerned about the penalties. Is what I'm guessing. But yeah, I feel like it is fixable. At least to not make, what was it, 12 penalties today?
12 for 112.
Like maybe 4 penalties? Like, can we
I'll take
minimize
6.
it a little bit?
Half.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Cut it in half. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I'll take
So, yeah, that's a good point that you bring up, Glenn. It's really hard to sit there and mull over the numbers and go, "Oh, we could have done this. Oh, we could have done that," and point to anything except for the penalties. It's just
right.
wild. I mean, it's a good thing they have absolutely no one under center. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
No, they know.
But,
they know.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Don C, shout out to Don C, of course, gifted 5 more memberships, of course, to our community. Make sure if you guys are getting those, you check that out. DK does a great job there, and we try and post on there as well with some of our pregame production recordings and other stuff. So there's a lot of fun goodies in there. It's a great Christmas present. So shout out to Don C for that one.
Yeah, buddy, absolutely. But yeah, let's get into some of the box score here. After we get into
Sorry, I was laughing at Rave Kingdom.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Ravens funny. Ben Cleveland at center. Free Ben. Yeah, I mean, I hope you never stop mentioning Ben Cleveland's name in the chat. I absolutely love it.
I'm always amazed. I've never seen another human make a football helmet look smaller than J.O. does, except for Ben Cleveland.
Right. Yeah.
I've never seen it in my life.
Insane. Absolutely
out of
insane.
this world.
He's a huge human being. And by the way, I want to point this out. I'm saying huge human being made this trigger in my mind. I saw a play where Falele, did you guys see it where he kind of peeled back and absolutely lit a guy up?
Yes.
I was so excited.
Yes, he did it twice.
I'm like, go, Falele, you hit somebody with some force. You did. Oh, it's so cool to see. We never, I thought he was going to get penalized because it's kind of like a crackback. But luckily he didn't. And yeah, just wanted to shout out Falele for finally showing some physicality with his 6'8" frame. It's absolutely ridiculous. But look, I don't want us to keep taking, I don't want us to take this for granted. Yeah, it's a bad team. The Giants are going nowhere fast. They're a mess from top to bottom. But Lamar Jackson today had more touchdowns than he had incompletions on 25 attempts. I mean, that's
oh my gosh, just ridiculous. Out of this world.
It's insane. Another Jackson 5 to add to the ever-growing list. I don't think it's unreasonable at all to say that he will catch. I think it's Tom Brady and Peyton Manning are tied with the most.
I think it's Drew Brees.
Is it?
I think on that list,
you can find that list. Most games with 5 touchdowns, no picks. But my point is, I don't think it's unreasonable at all to think that Lamar could catch and surpass whoever is in first for that.
Tom's at 8 at first.
8? And what's he at?
Lamar's at 6.
And yet they'll still, after he's done, say, but he was a better runner than. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. Let me see here. 5 touchdowns, 8 games. Okay. And he's at 6. That's insane. That's absolutely unbelievable. He just
crazy.
He just continues to just break record after record and do it at such a young age. It's unbelievable. So shout out to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and the funniest part to me about all that was then shortly thereafter, if I'm not mistaken, they're talking about the MVP race. And they're like, I don't get
touchdown. What is it? 31 and 3?
I think it's more than that now, Glenn. I think it's 30. Isn't it 33?
Oh my gosh. Is it really?
It's something else.
He
was 4 touchdowns, I believe, away from tying his record of 36.
Well, that would be 32.
34. Casey Miller says 34.
So 34 touchdowns to 3 picks. Like, what are we talking about here, ladies and gentlemen? Like,
it's insane.
What that is unbelievably impressive. And you kind of couple that with what else he's doing on the field, the yardage, the average per attempt, the yards on the ground, the rushing and touchdowns. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. Let's continue to go through this, and we'll circle back to talk a little bit more about him later. Derrick Henry didn't have the first half I was expecting. Didn't see a ton of them in the first half. As expected, got to see a lot more of them in the second, where he certainly got to wear on that Giants defense. 14 carries, 67 yards. Doesn't get in the end zone. He had that streak of, what was it, 13 straight to start his career here in the end zone. Yeah. Hasn't been able to get it done as of late, but still a pretty decent game. And then Lamar Jackson, 6 carries, 65 yards. He does have the fumble on, I think, his first carry of the game. But What's your thoughts on Rasheen Ali? As you can see there, 8 carries, gets the late work, 32 yards. Do you think the Keaton Mitchell being a healthy scratch isn't necessarily like, while he may not be injured, do you think this is more as a result of his continued rehab and continuing to come back from that injury? Or do you think they just are liking more what they're seeing out of Rasheen Ali and feel he deserves the opportunity?
I have no idea how to answer that, Glenn.
Hmm.
I'm totally perplexed. Like, why is he not on the field? DK thinks he had a setback.
Yeah. I just wish they wouldn't call him a healthy scratch then. Put it on make it more clear, because right now it looks like he's just being disappeared right now. I don't know.
Maybe they felt like, okay, so maybe somebody can help me out with this that knows more than me, that's more of a nerd about football, but they of course have the designation. They have to bring him back, right? Do they have to bring him back if they want him included in all football activities for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, maybe they did that strategically, even knowing that
just to start his rehab.
Right. Like, he's still got a ways to go.
Okay.
And then they saw him on the field and were like, for sure, he's still got some time that he needs.
Oh, the turf. That's an interesting call.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that was a concern of mine this entire game. Shout out to the Ravens for coming out healthy for the most part. So, anyway.
Okay. Maybe that did play a risk. Okay. Play a part in the risk. Okay. I can believe that. MetLife, you're notoriously bad for injuries and all that stuff. So, okay. Good point. I like that. So, nothing. I guess we'll just say, hey, Keaton, we'll see you next year. Like, at this point, like, really production-wise, I think we'll see you next year, but still become a part of the team, and maybe we'll see a kick return here and there throughout the rest of the year. But, all right, let's get into – and you know what? I'm going to toot my horn a little bit, Jimbo.
Okay.
And I think you should as well. Who did you pick as your – I have it up here in the background. Your breakout – who's your breakout player or your – on offense?
It wasn't great. It was Derrick Henry.
Oh, I thought you did Justice Hill. That's my bad. Okay.
Yeah, that was the week before. You had Bateman, right?
I have Rashad Bateman, and man, I must say I couldn't have gotten any better. I mean, 3 catches, 80 yards. He looked so like that touchdown looked absolutely beautiful. A dot by Lamar Jackson put on the right on the button, and then Rashad Bateman, all hands. And then on the touch, I think it was a touchdown. It was just a deep catch on the right side. Absolutely turned that safety all around. The guy looked so bad. He was wide open. Rashad Bateman was absolutely incredible today. Good to see him back out there. Good to see him healthy. And then Tone the Virgo brings up the next guy. I mean, can't wait to hopefully get this guy back on the show after having him on during training camp. He said, we finally got a Tez Walker sighting. And I'm guessing the formula is going to be stout on kickoffs to save Tucker for just field goals. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Why not, right? Guy's got a big leg, strong guy, young kid. Let's let him, put himself in harm's way more so than our kicker that we need for far bigger reasons.
Does it also make you wonder if Tuck does have some undisclosed ailment?
I think it's more so he put his nose in there on a couple kick returns and made himself involved, and I think they just want to eliminate that risk. That's my take, but it could be some of that as well.
Yeah, and it could also be Stout just getting an opportunity to practice something.
Why not, right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah.
I'd rather – dude, he is huge. Stout is a big, strong dude. Like, if he doesn't look like a punter. I'll put it to you like that. And I'd rather have that guy running down there potentially making a game-saving tackle than Tucker. And also, I'd rather let's mitigate the risk of Tucker being injured. But let's get back into Tez Walker here. Tez Walker, first NFL catch, goes for a 21-yard toe drag swag touchdown in the back of the end zone. I told everyone when I saw the catch, if he doesn't have that picture blown up and framed in his home somewhere of him just tapping that toe, first NFL catch, what a way to do it. He looked good too, Jimbo, in that number too, didn't he, Jimmy?
Yeah, exactly. It was almost weird. I'm sure you guys thought so as well. It's almost weird to see like a classic 80s number receiver catch it and score a touchdown here in Baltimore because, when's the last time? Think about it. Zay is 4, Bateman is 7, Wallace is 16, Nelly is 15. When's the last time we had a receiver wearing the number 80s for anywhere from 80 to 89? A receiver, not a tight end, score a touchdown.
No doubt.
But yeah, super happy to get a Tez Walker sighting today, as Tony Virgo mentioned as well. But yeah, man. And look, I like to see Lamar dish the ball around. I mean, Tylan Wallace had one. Obviously, Walker Likely, who we honestly haven't seen get that involved, got more involved. Aguilar got the ball with a great catch, by the way. I do have, this is nitpicky, Glenn, but I have one question for you.
All right.
It pains me to even bring this up. This is extremely nitpicky when Lamar just threw 5 touchdowns, had ridiculous statistics. Is it me, or am I asking for too much? Does a lot of these balls seem to be high? Like everything today, even the very first pass to Zay, he jumped up in the air where he was wide open. I mean, and some of it, I think it's Lamar like being the only quarterback that could even get the throw off anyway. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Well, the one to the Nelly where he jumped, he had a guy in his face. He kind of threw it in.
That one, no one else even gets that throw off.
Right. Yeah. So, but I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it in real time. I didn't.
It was just something I was watching, like, and I wonder if it's just a thing that happens when you're, if you are running and your feet aren't set, you might overcompensate a little with your arm. It can be expected.
Yeah. For sure.
You know what I mean? So it might just be a normal thing.
He did have some off-platform throws today.
Yeah. Sure. And that probably comes with the territory, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. But also started off, he went to his comfort zone early. Didn't go there often and didn't go there late at all, but went there early, kind of, I think, helped get him into a rhythm, finding Andrews early for the touchdown and then a later first down. Love to see that guy getting involved early. I wish we see more of Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, quite frankly. But I know we got a lot of mouths to feed. Got to get the ball to a lot of different guys. But, man, those guys are just so good. And then not to be, overlooked or outshined, Justice Hill, 5 catches, 61 yards, a touchdown, continues to be an integral part. Rashad Bateman and Justice Hill are 2 guys that often, we don't talk about. We talk about the big dogs on this offense. We talking Flowers, Andrews, even Likely somehow found his way in there in that group before, I think, even Justice Hill and Bateman. But, man, those 2 guys today were really the unsung heroes. And I think going into the playoffs, man, don't sleep on how those 2 could win us a game by one big play from either one of them. Great games from both of those guys.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man. One of the things that DK asked is that, does this mean that Deontay Johnson is now expendable?
Get him out of here, Jimbo.
Done with the experiment. See you later.
Dude, that attitude ain't going to get you far. Look, Devontae Campbell tried the same thing in San Francisco this week, and, man, got absolutely destroyed by his teammates, by his coaches. His GM is pursuing anything he can to try and get some of that signing bonus back. You don't quit on your team. You just don't do it. It's selfish. There's no place for it. Bring back Odell Beckham Jr. Bring him back, Jimbo. He's a free man.
You want him back, huh?
I want him back. Yes, he fits with the locker room. The guys loved him. Why not bring him back? Why not?
Yeah, I'm surprised you brought that up. I wasn't sure exactly how you'd feel about that, being that it was, let's be honest, it was basically highway robbery last year.
Well, this year it would be
right.
Assuming nothing.
But I wonder if Eric's like, all right, you already got enough of my money type thing,
Maybe.
DK says too many mouths to feed. But I guess the only thing with Odell is he'd kind of know what he's walking into.
Yeah.
The situation he's walking into.
He don't have a lot left in the tank. We're looking to squeeze any droplets out of it left, and he's looking to get a ring. That's
right. If he gets 2 rings, even with a diminished second half of his career, he has a better chance, of course, of getting in the Hall.
For sure, he'd be a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. If he gets 2, I think he's a Hall of Famer, especially if he plays.
I did see this just because I saw this on Twitter. You guys probably already saw this. This is completely unrelated. Freaking, what's his face, broke his foot.
Who's that?
Nick Chubb.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Nick Chubb, dude. I always have a soft spot for Nick Chubb because I feel like he should be a Raven.
Such a monster, man. Which foot, though? Is it the foot on the same? Don't tell me it's the same leg.
I honestly don't know.
If it's the same leg, it's like, bruh, come on, man. And then I saw Jerome Ford pop like a 70-yard tutty after he went out. And that was the only score, I think, of the game for them. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
but yeah, what a game for these guys. Let's go down and check out the defensive side.
Yeah. There's only one stat that matters.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? It's bullcrap because I'm just curious. Why am I seeing so much David Ajabo and not Odafe Owe, even in big moments early on? I'm like, what did this guy do? He came off his best stretch in his career when it comes to quarterback pressures and production as far as sacks, and his reward is losing snaps to David Ojabo and Tavius Robinson. I don't know what the hell is going on, Jimbo.
It is a good question, Glenn. I don't know. I'm just not questioning it right now.
Yeah, I bet you're not.
Because I'm hanging on by a thread. By a thread.
What? Where? Jimbo. Tez Walker had the same amount of tackles. Lamar Jackson had more tackles.
Wait, how did Lamar have a tackle?
On the fumble. They gave him credit.
Oh, did they credit him for the tackle? Oh, my gosh.
Credit, bro. I'm in trouble, man. You're right. He's going to break my heart, Jimmy. He's going to get so effing close.
Just remember, I called 9.5.
Oh, my God. I know. That's why it spurred the whole bet.
But you still got a game against Jameis, right?
Bro, he just took on Tommy Cutlets and Tim Boyle. What are we doing here, man? Against the worst offensive line he'll face all year, and he was on the bench.
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Oh, it's disappointing. Let's see. Emo says, didn't see the game, but saw Ojabo had a sack. Was defense good today? Or Darius Washington underrated? Defense was I mean, look, they're not the best defense, but gosh darn it, they're not the damn worst anymore. They're not even close to being the worst. I think they did what they were supposed to do against a terrible team. The only time they got any production or moved the ball was when the Ravens shot themselves in the foot with stupid penalties, or if they were, I'll give it to you, unfair at times with some of the penalties that were called. Certainly on I get it was a penalty. He drove him into the dirt, but I just hate that it's a penalty now. I hate that it's such a subjective thing. This time it was really, I mean, textbook when we talk about what it looks like to drive a guy into the ground. But it's such a stupid thing that in football you have a rule that's literally tackling a guy too hard.
Yeah,
like,
still wild to think about.
What do you point? Are Darius Washington underrated? Is that what this is? Okay. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean,
100%. I mean,
what about your guy?
Dude, tell me about it. I mean, I think he was just on the lounge this week, talking about, kind of his experience in emerging and really settling the ship, right?
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens defense was Peter when he sunk in the middle of the water, and here comes our Darius Washington. That's right. It's Sunday. I'm comparing our Darius Washington to Jesus. I just did that. And he stood up and he said, "Oh, ye of little faith, you're sinking in the water. Let me grab your hand up out of the water and settle this storm for you a little bit," right? Like, man, our Darius Washington has done so much to be consistent, to be hungry. He plays like a Raven. He's physical. He's consistent. He's opportunistic. He's smart. It's crazy because I don't know if you guys remember. If you don't, years ago when we got our Darius Washington, a lot of people were excited about him. And if you guys remember, he played at TCU with Mo Reg. Everybody was all in Mo Reg. He was a second-round pick. I think, if I'm not mistaken, early second round, projected first round. And he was the guy coming out of that safety unit. And we had a guy on from TCU who covers the team, used to play safety for TCU, and said to us on our show that our Darius is the guy. As much as he liked Mo Reg, that our Darius is the guy. And I think he got a lot of flack for that. And man, does he look right today, because he bought low. He bought some penny stocks and hit it. I mean, this kid is going to make himself some money, and he's looking good. And it's just exciting because this is what the Ravens do in player development. This is an underrated part, an under-talked about part of John Harbaugh's game and this coaching staff's, game, but ability as a coach and his coach staff as well. So shout out to obviously our Darius and the coaching staff for putting this together and helping him become,
having the guts to do it.
Yeah. 100%, just saying, let's get this guy out of here.
Sorry, Marcus. But I tell you what, when Marcus, if there is an injury anywhere along that defensive backfield, and we do call on Marcus, I hope and expect him to, do what he's supposed to do and get out there and help his team and not sulk like we see some of these other guys around the league. John C says, "I wish we knew what was going on with Keaton Mitchell." Yeah, it's the. I mean, look, the secrecy. Everybody hates the secrecy from the NFL. I get it from their standpoint. It doesn't do them a lot of good to keep us completely informed about every injury and everything that goes on behind the scenes. But at the same time, it's a little frustrating to just be like just tell us, is it I mean, maybe we should just read into what it is, and they just don't think he's ready. But just tell us; it'd be kind of nice to be a little bit more transparent. And then, how about our Darius Washington? Love that guy. He's been stabilizing for us on defense. Yeah, absolutely. I think if you had to say, I mean, I guess you give defensive MVP to Marlon at this point because of how he played early on and was really the only good player who's been consistent all year.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be hard to argue of a more impactful player than just putting that guy out there. Like, he seems to have changed so much. So yeah, hopefully our Darius can continue to play well. I love that he's staying healthy. He gets his hands on a ball today and actually pulls it down. He didn't drop it, thank goodness. Made the interception. So yeah, keep playing your ass off. Love to see it. Let's see here. Oh, got you. All right, DK. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, the other thing I want to say, Ravens related, does Patrick Mahomes have a touch of Ben Roethlisberger in him or what?
Oh, about him having to tell you about everything.
Well, you know, he walks off, he's like,
yeah, making sure everyone knows he's
hurt.
Dude,
bro,
yeah.
Nick Chubb broke his foot, and I bet you Nick Chubb just walked.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like a guy who wants to read you his list of ailments before he goes in and plays anyway. I love it.
So annoying.
Now, I tell you what, they won today big, but the Browns played like absolute garbage, had 4 turnovers, and they still really only won. They won by 2 scores. Like, bring it on, Chiefs. Bring it on.
Let's go.
Bring it on. I do hope. I know what you're saying as far like, did it feel like we got our swag back offensively today, even with 35 points? You think?
Look, I guess to the Ravens, to the Ravens' credit, not I guess, to the Ravens' credit, this was a set up to be a get back game, and the Ravens took advantage of that opportunity. I'm glad that they took advantage of the opportunity, got the swag back, like you said, and looked to be sharpened coming up to play against the Steelers again in a rematch now in Baltimore. So yeah, to your point, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for this, man. This home stretch. This is where champions are made.
Yeah.
Right. In December, cold AFC North football. Dude, let's go.
Yeah, I can't wait for this upcoming game this weekend. Oh, quickly wanted to get your take on Desmond King. Because in my opinion, Desmond King had obviously a high having the kick return, or was it a punt return? Had a nice play, but at the same time, I didn't love what I saw out of him. That was a little bit concerning. He looked slow out there. Didn't love his pursuit angle or pursuit intensity on the touchdown to Neighbors on the right side. I was not in love with him on defense, but I did like what I saw out of him as a return man.
Yeah, so I'll agree with you. Not super excited about seeing him on defense. Looked slow, looked old. Yeah. But most definitely I liked having him back there. Now, does that, I guess something happened to, I mean, I know that Tylan Wallace had a bad game. I feel like the last game, didn't he muff 2 of them?
Yeah.
And he recovered both of them.
Right.
But muff 2 of them, and we don't want that. So, they seem to have wanted to go somewhere else, and it looks like he's going to keep the job for the time being, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he's at least earned another week, but the only question is that performance enough to keep him on the active day roster when you may not have loved what you've seen out of him on defense?
That's a good point. I don't know. What do you say? I think he gets another week.
He gets another week. Okay.
Right. I don't know. It's Steelers week though, bro. We got to be dialed in. We can't be. We'll give him another week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, this is the biggest game of the year. I think that's obvious. It's fair to say. Yeah, man, this is a big game. I'm hoping like crazy we can pull off the win, because if we do, I think we are very much so in the driver's seat when it comes to the division, for sure.
Dude, 100%, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, I think overall, I'm super happy with the Ravens did today. Number one, I'm super happy that we're healthy.
Oh, by the way, Jimbo, you picked the under on penalty yards at 30.5.
I know. I think that happened in the first half. And you called it, too. You were like, Brandon Stevens going to get 1, and it's already over. So, yeah. Look,
I'm 122 yards, Jimbo, or something, or 112. Yeah.
I think we had more penalty yards than DeVito did throwing.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're correct.
I think we doubled it up. actually, or close to it. But I'm super happy with the way the Ravens played today. I'm super happy they came out healthy, Glenn.
Yeah, that's the big one. Yep.
Yeah, big time. Happy that, man, we are one of the few teams that our offensive line is all healthy.
And it still doesn't make you feel good. But
no,
they
it
are.
makes me think, what would it be like if this was all healthy and Zeitler was plugged in there? Right.
Oh, my God. If we only had to worry about left guard, like only left guard, and we could throw all those guys we talk about between the two guards.
And just compete and go.
That's it. We would be unbelievable.
Yep. But we're here now.
That's right.
And it is what it is. Time machines don't exist.
Nope.
And so, look, I'm happy that we have the health of our 5 guys up there. Our starters from week 1 are here today. And looking forward to seeing us. Man, look, Glenn, this is mile 19. Let me tell you something that I learned.
Okay.
When you get to mile 19, the Baltimore Marathon, you're only 50% done the marathon effort-wise. 50%. Because you are feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what happens?
What's that?
You start hitting them hills. You go up Hopkins. You go up Druid Hill. You go around Lake Montebello. You go through all that. You hit 1,000 feet of elevation. And the sun is beating on your back. Dude, it's a whole different ball game when you're 19 miles in, right? This is where we're at.
Where men are made. Yep.
That's exactly like, this is the point where, let me tell you what, you gotta see it and smile.
You gotta welcome it.
That's right. That's all you can do. This is what you dream for, right? This is what you work for.
That's what I have a feeling this is part of the message Harbaugh is telling his team. Honestly.
Man, I should just be in John's ear.
You know what I mean? Just put an earbud in there.
That's right, dude. Come on, John.
That's
now
right,
slap somebody's behind with enthusiasm, John. He like robotically.
Yeah, I mean, this is what everyone in the sports world grows up pretending to be in this position, right? Competing for a playoff spot and eventually for the Lombardi. So yeah, I can't wait for this weekend. This is the biggest game until the next week, when then that will be the biggest game. But yeah, I think that's it for us tonight. I think we'll be back certainly on Tuesday to get, to kind of further recap this week and the rest of the results of the week around the NFL, and then get the page turned to next week, Steeler week upcoming. And man, big game in Baltimore. Can't wait to see it.
Let's go.
That's it. Have a good one. See you.